Miss Ani, and welcome to our preschool Bible lessons. This week we're going to be talking about the story of Esther, but before we get into that, we're going to do our memory verse. So let's stand up and get our wiggles out first. Wiggle our arms and wiggle our legs. Okay, stop. Are you guys ready? We're going to be doing Esther chapter 4, verse 14. It says, "You have come to the kingdom for such a time as this." Now we're going to do it all together. So we're going to put our fingers forward. You have come. We're going to put our hands up like a castle to the kingdom. And then we're going to point at our imaginary watches. For such a time as this. It's Esther chapter 4, verse 14. Let's do it 2 more times. You have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. You have come to the kingdom for such a time as this. Great job, friends. Keep practicing at home. And now let's turn our listening ears on and get ready for Miss Lexi with the Bible lesson.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this week's preschool Bible lesson. We have been learning about so many amazing people in the Bible, but this week, we're gonna learn about some more. I am so excited that this entire month, we are going to learn about some of the most amazing women in the Bible and their awesome stories on how they trusted God. This week, we are going to be learning about Esther. Now, Esther was a Jew, one of God's chosen people, and she lived in a place called Persia. And at that time, Persians treated the Jews very poorly. And Esther had already had a hard life. She was an orphan, which means she did not live with a mom or a dad. But her cousin Mordecai took Esther in as his own daughter. Now at this time, the king of Persia wanted a new queen. So he decided to host a beauty pageant to find a new queen. And women came from all over the land, dressed beautifully, and tried to impress the king. But only one woman caught his eye. Can you guess who it was? It was Esther. Esther was beautiful, and the Lord gave her favor in the sight of everyone around her. The king chose Esther to be his new queen, but she had a very, very important secret. Do you remember? The king did not know that she was Jewish. And don't forget, the Persians despised the Jews. In fact, one of the king's workers named Haman hated the Jews. Haman was so mean. We could say in this story, he was the bad guy. Haman came up with a horrible plan to get rid of all of the Jews. He told his plan to the king, and you won't believe this, but the king said yes to Haman's plan. The Jews were God's chosen people, and somebody needed to help them, right? Esther found out about this plan and knew that she had to do something. But don't forget that she was a Jew. So she was so scared of what would happen to her if she said anything to the king. But her cousin Mordecai reminded her, trust God that he has a plan. Maybe you were brought into the kingdom for such a time as this. In other words, maybe God made Esther the queen because he knew that she would be the one to save the Jews. So Esther decided to trust God. She walked up to the king and she requested a banquet, which was a big party. Because the king liked her so much, he said yes. And at this banquet, Esther had asked for, she walked up to the king with boldness. She knew that God had a plan, and she knew that the king would find out that she was a Jew, and it might make him angry. But she trusted God for the sake of her people. The king asked her, "What is your request?" And Esther told him how awful Haman's plan was, and that if all the Jews were killed, she would be killed too. She begged the king not to go through with this very bad plan. And can you guess what the king said? Do you think he got angry? Do you think he liked what Esther said? Well, listen to this. The king was so moved at Esther's request. Not only did he stop this plan, but he also removed the bad guy from the kingdom to keep the Jews protected forever. The king signed a new law that ensured the protection of all of the Jews. Esther trusted God, and God was faithful to his people, and Esther as well. Esther was so brave, and from this story, we can see that God has always had an amazing plan. Even when things get a little scary, crazy, or anything like that, God is our protector. We can be brave and stand up for what's right. God gives us strength to do it. I hope you enjoyed this Bible story today and learning about this amazing woman of God. You can be just as brave as Esther because God is on your side. Have an amazing week, and we will see you next time.